My name is Jonathan Christian from We Make Stuff Happen up here in British Columbia, Canada. And I get the joy of interviewing people all around the world who are making a very specific difference in their world. And I love to meet local experts who have doubled down on what it is that they love to do and tell their story through their website, through social media, through video. And it's my absolute joy today to meet and talk to the legendary Dirk Schultz.
Legendary in my own mind, right?
So here am I in 12 degrees cold Canada, or 54 degrees in America, and here's you in probably 80-something degrees Aspen, right?
Yeah, I think it's close to 80 today, but it's beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky, Jonathan.
Wow, and you're in a very special place right now, right?
I'm in John Denver Sanctuary, which is a tribute to the singer-songwriter, late John Denver. One of my favorite places in Aspen to come to, just because, as you can see in the background, Aspen Mountains right here. And it's just, he's one of my favorite artists and songwriters. And I can just relate to him for his love for the mountains and the environment. And also, I heard John Denver's songs playing throughout the house when I was growing up. So my mom was a big fan.
Wow. So how long have you lived in Aspen?
Oh boy, I'm going on 14 years here. I've been in the area for about 20 years.
Oh, wow. But this is...
I look like I moved here when I was 2.
Absolutely. But this wasn't where you were brought up, though, right?
No, I was born and raised in a small town between Buffalo and Rochester, New York.
Okay. Wow, that's a little different. East coast of the mountains, then.
East coast of the mountains, the snow is about the only thing that's similar. Yeah, it was a very small, kind of a farming community, but it's a great place to grow up.
Okay, and do you have many siblings?
I have 4 brothers. So there was, yeah, I'm one of 5 boys, and so funny because we lived about 5 miles outside of town. So my grandparents' farm was up the road, my aunt and uncle lived next door, and then it was our place. So it was all farmland. So we would go and run around and be active outdoors or up on the farm. There was never a shortage of a brother to play with.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So what was life? Was mom a stay-at-home mom, dad a career guy? What was that like?
That would be nice. But no, my mother was mom was born and raised on a farm, so she knew how to work hard, and she did all of her life. And dad worked for a division of General Motors for years. Mom worked about 7 days a week. 5 days a week during the week was a bus driver for mentally handicapped for our school district. And then on the weekend, she picked up odd jobs at a donut shop or someplace else but she was always working. So yeah, the parents were together for, I would say, the first 12 years of growing up, off and on. And then they split when I was about 12, 13 years old. So then mom was working even harder to maintain the home life, if you will. So, wow. And dad, yeah, my father had an interesting journey. He was always struggling. He had his own demons and struggling with alcohol. And come to find out, my dad is a gay man as well. So he was dealing with all that inside of a marriage, and he was coming to terms with all that. So they just realized that wasn't going to work out. And but everything does work out, as we know. And my father is one of the most at peace and grounded men that I know. Has kicked the alcohol habit for about 26, 27 years, and he's doing great. Great.
Wow.
My mother unfortunately passed about 4 years ago. Oh. But you want to talk about Spitfire. She was like the glue that kept us together. She was 4'11", but all the brothers. She was 4'11". That's where I get my height from. And my mother could throw a look that would stop all the brothers in their tracks. So,
right.
Yeah, my brothers are great. All of them were athletes in high school, and 3 of them live back in our hometown, and 1 lives in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as the girl diving coach for the University of Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where are you in the hierarchy of boys?
I'm number 4 of 5.
4 or 5.
Not quite the
Okay.
youngest. Yeah.
So not quite that middle child scenario, but not the youngest baby either.
No, no. But I was my mom's, that's closest to my mom, I think. So,
Wow.
mama's
So
mama's boy.
I'm kind of getting where some of this intensity of yours for life has come from. And I'm also getting that grounded piece that you reflected on your dad as well. And I saw some pictures yesterday of Father's Day of you and your dad. And it's so awesome that the two of you have, grown close again and reconciled, and he's still a mentor in your life.
Very much so. Very much so. We talk once or twice a week, and he loves my husband Dave, and he comes out once in a while, and we just have a great time.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So I know you told me your dad's name was Wilhelm, but obviously it's Bill, in America.
Bill, right?
Is there much of a German sort of influence on your life in terms of that intensity and sort of work ethic that you have as well?
That's a great question. I never thought about it that way. The last name is Schultz, so it's Dirk Schultz is very German. So maybe there's some of that in my blood, but I think the work ethic and tenacity I get is very much from my mom too. So
wow. So you're just like a living, breathing Audi to me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now we talked some time back, and you were telling me about as a kid you sort of came across some weights in a room and started lifting them, right?
Well, as you and I were talking about, Jonathan, excuse me, I was being one of 5 boys. We were always active, but I was after my parents split, I was just dealing with that whole something wasn't right, and I was dealing with a lot of stuff on my own. I had some past stuff going on with abuse when I was younger, and when you're coming in your teens and the self-confidence, I was just questioning a lot of things. Come to find out, I was dealing with coming to terms with being a gay man, but I wasn't comfortable with myself, and I was very small and scrawny. I told you my mom's 4'11".
Yeah.
I'm about, on a good day, I think I'm 5'8", but my friends will say you're more like 5'7". So we had some weights down in the basement, and just one day I just went down there and started messing around with them. And what I really enjoyed about it, not just the physical feeling of the workout, but what also how it gave me some clarity, and it helped me with my confidence. So I was working more on my headspace as much as my body. And the more I did that, the more it became a habit, and it became something I longed for. And then I would expand my, anytime I could find a new piece of equipment to put down in the basement, I would do that. And then it's in high school, I was on the track team in pole vaulting. We were always doing weights with the weight men. And then in college, that increased even more because I was becoming more confident and more sure of myself. But I also liked what was happening to my body, the response the weights, the workouts had to my body. But again, it was kind of that whole headspace and how it made me feel grounded.
Yeah.
And it was the one thing I could control in my life that made me feel good.
That is awesome. So I was looking at your website and looking at your list of credentials. I mean, you've done a lot of training over the years. How did you transition from like high school, enjoying how it felt to sort of work out and feel good, to end up being a trainer then?
Well, it's funny because I went to school for natural resources conservation. I was going to be a forest ranger early on.
Yeah.
I love the outdoors. And then when I went for my bachelor's in Marquette, Michigan, Northern Michigan University, I started in natural resources, and I left that just didn't feel right. And so I went into recreation administration, outdoor rec or outdoor ed. And while I was working with outdoor ed, going through that curriculum, I found there was this other curriculum it was just called wellness. And I was always intrigued by that. Now I'm on the track team, I'm doing my weights, and I'm having a good time. Let's just bring the ego into this. I'm getting some validation for my workouts.
Mm-hmm.
I was responding well. So I kept seeing this curriculum, and I was intrigued by what they were doing. And then I graduated from college, and the whole personal training, wellness coaching kept crossing my path. So it wasn't until about 20 something years ago where maybe it was like the fourth time it crossed my path. I'm like, I should really look into this. I love working out. I love helping other people, but I was working in an outdoor retail industry, Eastern Mountain Sports. And it just wasn't fulfilling enough. And so I decided I was going to go become a physical therapist. Oh. And in the journey of doing that, I was living up in the mountains, so it really didn't work out well. So I asked myself, well, what can I do that has a lot of the components of a physical therapist? I could do massage therapy, which I became a massage therapist. I could do my personal training, which I did. And then I became a wellness coach, because as a trainer and that I wanted to be able to help people at a deeper level than just counting reps for them and giving them a great workout, kicking their butt during the workout. So whenever they would come to me and they've had obstacles or certain things they were facing in their life, like issues with weight loss or nutrition or something like that, we would just sit and talk and get to the bottom of it. And we could work out and do some coaching around that. Yeah. So it just kind of started to expand more and more. And then I became a life coach, wellness coach. And that's what I'm in the practice of now, is splitting my time between being a personal trainer and a wellness and life coach.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it's so needed in today's high-powered work culture, where most people sort of like me just work behind a desk or travel and speak a lot. Quite often the last personal fitness, right?
Yeah, you and I talked about it before. There's a book called Working Out, Working Within. And I have not, I'll be honest, I've never read the book. The title says enough to me, is that we can go and work out with intention and work within. If we have some stuff that's going on in our life, let's not try to avoid it or run away from it. Let's bring it into our workouts and focus on it and try to uncover what it is, get out of our own way and move through it.
Yes, yes. It's much needed, my friend. So along the way, then obviously you've done lots of different modalities, and I know just of late, you've been teaching in Mexico, you've been over in Palm Springs, you're back here in Aspen. Do people physically have to be next to you for you to work with them?
No, I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of people will work out with me one-on-one as far as my personal training and even my wellness coaching. But I have people, when I was in Palm Springs, I was working with people back in Aspen, either Skype or by the phone, with some wellness coaching. I've also started doing personal training online, where I will design and send an individualized workout plan for someone every week, every month, whatever works for them. But no, they can be, I have people from around the country right now that I'm working with. Yeah. So it's great. So if I go to Palm Springs, or when I was in Mexico teaching, I was working with people back here.
That's amazing. And I know too that when you moved back to Aspen a few weeks ago, it was almost like Dirk's back, and there was a whole buzz on the streets, right?
Well, it's so funny because people thought, we took the winter and we're in Palm Springs, and it sounds glamorous, but I'm a working local, which I love. And it's so funny because people are like, "Oh my God, you're back! I thought you moved away." I'm like, "No, I'm here. I'm here." So it's nice. It's great to be loved, right?
No kidding. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. So with that sort of the whole work body lifestyle intention, I mean, you've obviously found balance. I mean, we're about the same age, and I'm a little taller than you, which is probably the only thing I can claim over you. Yeah. What is it with people who have every good intention of looking after themselves, but more times than not, they seem to do everything else on the list except look after themselves? How do you help people with that mindset of well-meaning but not well-doing?
Well, that's great. And I think you and I have talked about information doesn't mean transformation, right? So we have to create. And the other term I just heard lately is common sense doesn't mean common action. Yeah. And because a lot of us know what we have to do. It's not rocket science. We know what we have to do. It's that we don't have a clear vision of where we want to go. We don't have a vision that's really going to be firing us up to get us out of bed, or to put ourselves first. It's really about making the commitment, number one, because if we only give 50%, we're only going to get 50% results, if
Yes.
that, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a big it's a mindset that, okay, this is what I'm going to do for myself, and creating a vision, and then looking at, and here's where a lot of people trip themselves up. We listen to patterns that either we've created in our head or we've heard from family members saying way back when, that we're still living off of, that we don't deserve to be fit, or we don't deserve, whatever that looks like, whatever messages we're listening to.
Yes.
Or gremlins, as we call them.
Yeah.
And it's about shifting perspective and shifting the mindset, and putting yourself first. So a lot of people trip themselves up by not having the commitment, full on, and creating a clear vision, creating a new story around some of the old behaviors that we step into. Because what I find too is that I've done some retreats where people come in to Aspen, they get really, really excited, and then they go and they're all fired up about a new lifestyle, and then they leave and life gets in the way. We fall into our old habits, old patterns, and then we don't have the support, right? So it really takes a recommitment every day towards that new vision of the new reality that you want to create, and making new habits, stepping into new habits. People always say, well, I have a strong willpower. Willpower can only take us so far, really. And then our habits, what we're creating, what we're committing to, take over.
Yeah.
So it's having a clear game plan.
Yeah. And ideally, you want to do this before you have the heart attack or the stroke, right?
Well, yes, exactly right. You know, it's funny because I appreciate you saying, you know, you have the intensity. I'm very fortunate that I developed some good habits early on, and in part was out of necessity, just to make some clarity out of a confusing time when our family was going through some trying times. But it's as much for me for my headspace as it is for the physical, but it is something that I even have to commit to every day. You know, I have to commit to myself, because I really believe in that ripple effect of when you commit to yourself, and everything else falls in line, and you're able to give to other people more.
Yes.
My mother was a good example of this, that she had her first heart attack when she was 58. And I was a vegetarian at the time. And the doctor, before they wheeled her into the operating room, said to her, you're going to want to become a vegetarian, or as close to a vegetarian at the time. Now, Jonathan, at the time, my brothers were just standing around. They didn't understand my mindset. They were like, okay, our brother's a freak. What's he doing? He's a vegetarian. My mother thought I was thinking shingles. They just looked at me, and my mom's like, okay, I get it. But again, information doesn't mean transformation. 6 months, she was good. And then she wasn't in the mindset that she deserved to take care of herself, or like she would put everybody else first. So, and we tried to change that perception, and unfortunately it just never stuck. And her health was a result of not following through on some of that stuff. The reason I share that with you is because it is, we need to give ourselves permission. We need to create a vision for ourselves. We need to be taking care of ourselves first, even if we're caretakers or whatever we're doing in our lives. It will have a ripple effect and have a positive effect in those that we surround ourselves with. Wow,
that's amazing. So let's just say hypothetically, my intention and my motivation aligns, and I went, okay, look, I need to change. I turned 52 last week. It was my birthday on Thursday, and I'm probably heavier than I've ever been in my life. And I'm trying, you know, I bought a Fitbit, and I'm getting better sleep, and I'm getting better steps, but I'm absolutely nowhere near where I should be. Am I too far down the road for you to work with me, or what would that look like?
Not at all. You know, and it's funny because people will say, you know, I'm out of shape, or I'm too old. And this is one of my favorite things when someone's going to start working with me. I'll see them on the street and they'll say, I want to work with you, but I want to get in better shape before I start working with you. And I'm always like, that doesn't make sense. Come and work with me. Let's get on a program, and that will all come in place. So are you too far gone? Absolutely not. I have one of my favorite clients who I'm going to start up with this week. He's 85, and he just turned 85, and we've been working with it together for years. We just, we meet you where you're at, and we create. It's coactive, like with coaching. It's coactive coaching, meaning I don't have all the answers. You know your life better than anybody else. I sit with you and say, okay, what's realistic? What's going to work? What's not going to work? And then we create an individualized plan from there. But again, like we were talking, Jonathan, it's about creating the commitment, a realistic commitment, creating a vision of a new reality. Whatever you want to, you're striving for. And then we'll talk about what hasn't worked in the past or any limiting beliefs that we need to address. Because our excitement gets us into a program, but as we go through and old patterns start to try to creep back in, we have to recommit, and we have to look at what's the message, how are we talking to ourselves, and what patterns are we stepping back into?
Yes.
And create a plan around that.
Wow.
So yeah, I will work with someone. We work with them from foundation, meaning I'm going to see how you move off of equipment before I start loading you up with equipment, because I really believe we get you moving properly first. We get you thinking properly first. We change the mindset, create the why you want to get in shape, why you want to lose the weight, why you want to be a marathon runner, whatever that goal, that idea, that vision you have for yourself. And then we create a plan together.
Mm-hmm. Man, that sounds awesome. And I also noticed that you don't just give to your clients, you also give back a lot to the community, which I really resonated with. So I read something about the Rocky Mountain Food Bank and the program that you do there.
Yeah, that's why thank you for asking about that, because it's one of my passions too. Growing up the one of 5 boys, and growing up in a chaotic household with my parents trying to figure out their own lives along the way. We didn't have much money. And then when my parents split, the stressors got even more. And we relied on some of the government offerings of like some of the food banks.
Yes.
And so I know how important that was. And I remember going to school, and because we were on a low income household, we would get these vouchers, these tickets for lunch. And honestly, Jonathan, I hated the stigma or the how I felt picking up that ticket and handing that into the cashier, because everybody else knew what that meant, right? So when I hear that 1 in 5 kids in Colorado goes to bed hungry, I'm like, how is that possible in the United States? How is that even possible in the world with so much abundance, right? How is that possible? So I created I was creator and founder and director of the HIT program at the Aspen Club and Spa.
Yeah.
And a few years back, I wanted to do more. So we created a one-day event called HIT for Hunger, where teams of 3 would come and participate in various challenges and raise money for the food bank of the Rockies. So we've done that for a few years. This is our first year that we're taking a little break because the Aspen Club's going through a renovation. But I love giving back to that, because some of the programs, it's to raise money and awareness, because 1 in 5 kids, and I think it's even more, even in this valley of, Aspen is known for its abundance and wealth. Some of these kids are going to school hungry. And how can they develop properly, both physically and mentally, if they can't focus? And what they're focusing on is their hunger. Or so they have programs that, like on a Friday, kids can pick up a backpack with enough food that's easy to prepare that would help get them through the weekend. And then they can take advantage of, especially during the school year, like breakfast and some of the lunch programs.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, the Food Bank of the Rockies is an awesome organization that does some great work on the Western Slope and throughout Colorado. And I look forward to doing more with them.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I feel like I've given you a bit of a workout, you know, being out in the strong sun up on the mountain, which is higher to the sun, so there's probably more intensity in the UV, and holding your phone straight for this long.
I hope I'm doing a good job, because I feel like I'm, you know, shaking a little bit.
It's a little bit shaky now, but you've done amazing. So Dirk, if I was to work with you or someone else wanted to work with you, how would we best get in touch with you?
You can go to contact me go to dirkschultz.com.
Yeah.
And fill out, sign up for a session with me, like a phone session, discovery session. You can call my number, my cell phone number. That's 970-309-4378. Or drop me a line again at dirkschultz.com.
Fantastic. And what capacity do you have to take new people on right now?
Right now, I'm fortunate to have my personal training clientele is just about full. I'm always taking people and looking to see if there's a fit to take on coaching or even training from our clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a little bit of time left, and I'm always willing to talk and see what we can create together.
Fantastic. And also, like, I guess that's because I found you on social media as well. Instagram and Facebook are a couple of other places to find you, right?
Instagram, Facebook are great ways to find me as well.
Fantastic. Well, Dirk, I have so enjoyed working. I feel fitter for just breathing in that mountain air and being inspired by your story, my friend. What a great story. And
well, and I appreciate that. And when I tell people, it doesn't take, small steps make a big difference. We don't get in the shape that we're in typically overnight. So we're not going to get it. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's about mastering small habits first, and then it's kind of called the Zorro circle. And then you create more and more mastery around your health and well-being. And then before you know it, you're living a healthy lifestyle, and you're making smarter choices. I always say it's one choice at a time.
Yes.
But it's recommitting to yourself every day and making it happen, taking action.
And I saw a post of yours the other day. It says, "Nothing changes if nothing changes," right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's make some changes.
That's right. And I tell people, one thing you can do today is, let's look at how are we carrying ourselves, our posture, right? We're designed to be nice, strong and sexy, tall and powerful. And make sure you're getting enough water. It's such a small thing, but it has such a big impact.
Right. No, you're so right. Fantastic. Well, there's water in my coffee. Does that count?
Jonathan, we'll talk. We're going to set up our strategy session, our discovery session together.
You betcha, my friend. Okay, thanks again. Once again, that's you've inspired me by yourself. You've inspired me by Aspen Mountain and John Denver and the legacy of that song, Rocky Mountain High. My goodness. I'm jealous, man.
I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing this with me.
Look forward to it. All right. Take care.